Hello everyone, I'm Yodabari288 with GosuGamers, and today we have a very special guest. Some of you guys may know him as the Minnesota Twins pitcher, other people may know him as the Luminosity Gaming affiliated streamer, and others still may know him as the official organizer of the Overwatch Showdown 3v3 elimination tournaments. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Trevor May. Trevor, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So let's just kind of get right into it. Obviously your Twitch has kind of blown up recently, especially with your affiliation with Luminosity Gaming. You have over 15,000 followers on Twitter, which is absolutely awesome. But why did you choose Overwatch to really main in your for your stream?
Honestly, Overwatch kind of got me into streaming. Kind of. I watched Twitch a little bit up until maybe like mid last year. Wasn't super into any games at that point. Simply because it's a time thing, and a lot of people have asked me why it kind of like took me so long to kind of embrace gaming as much as I have been lately. But I was a huge WoW player in high school and like 2007 to 2010, 11. So when I got drafted, I like made a decision that I was going to focus more on baseball and not let gaming distract me. But now that I've kind of gotten up through the minors and had a couple of years in the big leagues under my belt, and kind of saw there was a way to kind of make it all worth it in that like you're playing games and there's a way to make it a little bit more fun and like you're accomplishing something and being entertaining. So those are all things that I like to do. And then Overwatch came out about that same time. So built a really, really good Twitch community quickly. And some of the guys that I watched right away, Tim the Tatman and Lassus and Moon, those guys, they were kind of pioneering that community right away. Kind of gravitated towards them because they reminded me of someone we're all about the same age too. So guys that I would have went to high school with and reminded me of all my friends of where we'd go and play video games till 5, 6 in the morning on the weekends, play WoW and things like that. So it kind of nostalgia brought me back to all that stuff, and I was like, you know what, I want to do this. I want to have a good go at it, and I'm always been kind of a techie, nerdy guy anyway. So I used to produce music a lot, so I had a lot of the equipment already for streaming. So I built a computer. I got into that really, and then it just kind of snowballed. So and I'm fortunate to say that I've met Lassus a few times in person. I haven't met Tim yet, but I'm kind of well known around their channels now, and they got great communities, and it just made so many friends so quickly. People who are seriously passionate about video games, like I always have been. So I'm kind of just letting that part of myself out. So, and Overwatch kind of just facilitated that.
So speaking of communities, you are obviously affiliated with Luminosity Gaming. How did that exactly come about?
So last, like I said, around the time I started streaming like every day, I was looking for other athletes that were also into it. I know Kyle Long, a lineman with the Bears. He would retweet a lot of Luminosity stuff. So he was one of a couple guys. Hunter Pence is another guy who plays baseball for the Giants. He was the guy that I followed. So I kind of like to say, hey, what pro esports team are these guys watching? And around that time, the Blizzard was kind of making a push for Overwatch's pro scene as the game was coming out. So Luminosity had a team in that. They were kind of one of the tier one teams there at the beginning with Envy and Cloud9 and all those bigger organizations had teams right away. So kind of gravitated towards them. They had Siegel at that time, and Siegel was one of the best players in North America at that point. So it was kind of me gravitating towards them. I liked their play style, and I kind of liked the guys on the team. So I kind of just made a decision, kind of like a lot of young kids make decisions who their favorite teams are going to be right away when they discover something. So Luminosity became that for me. And Steve, my head of the CEO of Luminosity, reached out via Twitter one day, and thank God for technology. And we kind of struck up a quick relationship. And again, he reminded me again of some kids that I went to high school with, that I was very, very good friends with, and the kind of his passion for gaming and kind of what he's trying to accomplish over there. and take esports kind of the next level, because it's still in its infancy, I think, and the sky's the limit kind of, for potential, not only young kids wanting to become pro gamers and things like that, but also on the business side of things. And I think he's on the right track and has some special stuff going. And you can see some of the good moves he's made with signing Luminosity Evil lately, and they're kind of coming out as one of the tier 1 teams again, and Luminosity's putting their name on top of the Overwatch charts again. So.
Oh yeah, they just won the Carbon Series too. Or no, they got
Or
second
they
place.
just second, yeah. They just second to Immortals, but Immortals is a great team, and it was a great series. So, and I had a great time watching that. It was awesome to be part of one of the organizations in the championship. So, that's how I got up with them.
Well, actually, speaking of the kind of organization as a whole, is it weird going from having teammates that you see every day for the Minnesota Twins straight to kids that you may not ever see, possibly? Because I know that you're definitely big for rooting on your Luminosity teammates. Frozen, that was just in the HCT Winter Championships, you were rooting for him as well, and I saw you a couple times tweeting about the Carbon Series. So is it weird kind of going from always seeing these guys and kind of knowing what they're doing day in, day out, essentially, to just kind of seeing them on Twitter and just getting a hey every once in a while?
Well, Twitter does become your best friend. A little bit, and especially when I haven't actually met any of them yet. But unfortunately, I had elbow surgery this year, so
yeah,
I'm not actually going to be. Yeah, it's just one of those things. A lot of guys have it, and I got to kind of move on. But and I like trying to look for silver linings as much as possible, as I am going to be rehabbing as hard and being back as quickly as I can from this injury. I have a lot of, things I'm passionate about off the field too. And, if I'm going to have downtime, I'm going to put a lot of effort and passion into those things and build that side of my life, along with doing everything I can to get back on the field. So, I'm looking forward to going to the Twitch cons, going to some of these lands and seeing some of these guys play, and possibly making trips out to team houses and hang out and see what's going on and that side of things. And I fanboy a little bit watching these guys because I know they're best at what they do. And like I said, I have one arm net right now. I can only use my mouse with my left hand. So first-person shooters, I've had to take a step back and figure out what else I'm going to stream. So I had picked up Hearthstone again. I played that at the beginning of my streaming because I really enjoy the game, and so I've been watching Frozen a lot to try to. Well, honestly, I'm just stealing his decks, and hopefully I can play them half as well as he does, and possibly make a run at things and keep my stream interesting while I heal to a point where I can play again. So. Yeah, it is weird not having actually met any of these people yet in person, but I'm looking forward to linking up with my Luminosity teammates and fellow organizational people at TwitchCon, BlizzCon, things like that.
Nice. Oh, yeah, 3 more questions. Thank you again, by the way, for just being so responsive with the interview and that sort of thing. That was really awesome. So tell us more about the Overwatch Showdown, because it's such a unique twist on what we usually see for tournaments and that sort of thing. I understand it's a 3v3, but you can't use the same hero twice unless you've run through the entire roster. And the ult charge is about 50% quicker?
I think it's 50% quicker, yeah. It's a 150% on the ult charge because there's nothing more fun than watching ults. Especially in a 3v3. We saw, yesterday, 2 or 3 Mercy reses that just flipped when Mercy was the only one left against the Roadhog or something, and she was able to flip her team back and get her fair up, and it was just a lot of exciting things to cast. So, actually, these rule sets, I cannot remember. There's a gaming organization that's doing a 3v3 tournament, and I do the very similar rules. I went kind of through theirs and saw that what they were doing was working really well. But there's 2 goals behind the 3v3 tournament, and I'm going at some point, especially during this year, like I said, when I can't play, I'm going to add in a 1v1 element. That actually might be even more. The 9-round 1v1 mystery heroes tournament, because I want to see some some really good players play all the characters and see how that would go. I think that would be just insane to watch and fun.
Just to see how deep their hero pool runs, right?
Absolutely, and the team who keeps winning, because both months in my upper bracket, the same team has won both. Slasher has won them both. He's very well known in the Overwatch community.
Yes, he is.
Slashers and Wonderfuls have been on the team both times. So, and they came from the loser bracket yesterday, and they went like 7-1, and came all the way back through and took 2 from I think it was Boosted Animals was the other team that played. So we had some pros yesterday. We had 3 of Team of Snow, Man of Snow's team he's put together. They were there too. They got confused. They thought they were eliminated after 1, but if you looked at the ratings on those guys, it was a bunch of top 10 rated guys. I was really excited to watch them play too, and they had a crazy game against our Slasher and his team beginning. So I'm blessed to be able to even be casting these, because these guys are all playing in big tournaments. But the biggest thing for me is to get back to the point I was trying to make. I want it to be a little bit less serious. 3v3 makes it kind of more of a crapshoot, more of a less of like guys setting up on top of the spaceship, trying to push underneath it and getting bottlenecked. Like, that's fun to watch, and those strats are great, of course. But it is more of a straightforward, symmetrical map. Who can land the shots? Who can execute better? It's a lot really exciting. So, like I said, in the future, I'm taking it. I think we had 10 teams yesterday. My April tournament is on April 15th, and I run a 3,000 plus SR on the season and 3,000 minus, and that's kind of the line, I think, where the biggest jump in talent is above and below those. So I'm going to do a lower bracket on the 23rd. Now we're getting so many teams that I can't do both tournaments in one day, or I can't stream all the games. So that moving forward, I'm adding a couple admins. Some possibly be running 2 games at one time, trying to get the time down a little bit. People who are helping me set up the brackets online so you can follow them along. Check-in system. And I actually have some production value in the works too. But in the end of the day, it's got to be a little fun. My commentating is not going to be as formal as a lot of other commentators, but I'm looking to bring in. I'm in discussions with another commentator that a lot of people who watch Overwatch are going to know who he is, to kind of come in and
nice tease.
Take his foot off the gas, maybe with his professionalism, and maybe just mess around with me for a while. And in the end of the day, I do put up some cash prizes that are pretty good for 3v3s. Guys, each team guy can take home a couple $100, and even the lower bracket gets a little bit of a prize. And that's honestly, that's pretty much all the funds I make from my Twitch stream is going towards that. So basically, as this channel grows, the pots are going to grow too, and it's my way of kind of giving those guys who play so well and so hard and get good at their craft a little way to let off steam, but also make a little extra money on a weekend that they're maybe not playing in a big tournament. So that's what we're going to do. And moving forward here, I'm trying to grow it bigger and bigger. And, I've had some people who are really excited about it. So it's been a lot of fun. But I'm hoping to organize it a little bit better, get a smooth moving machine, and go from there.
This was the first one, right?
This was the second one. The first one was kind of thrown together in a week type thing. We had 6 teams in each one, and Slasher actually helped me get the word out in the pro scene a little bit. So we added some more teams, and I'm still working out the system so that I can communicate with everyone, make sure everyone knows when to check in, when to be there, and to remind them. Lately, it's just been email. It hasn't worked as well. So hopefully, I'm running everything through a singular site this time. So there's one place you go and check when things change and stuff, and it should go a lot smoother.
Did you expect it to kind of blow up the way it has? Because I said it's only the second one, but you're already expanding quite a bit.
I was hoping it would. And like I said, I think I'm at least known in some channels with some streams that are, large parts of the community, and they've allowed me to kind of get the word out there too. So Like like I said, in the end, it's kind of a opportunity for amateurs to play against some pros, some people to win some money, and in the end, be really, really fun to watch. And my goal is just to be entertaining and help that gaming scene grow in any way that I can.
So, obviously you're with Luminosity Gaming, but have you ever considered owning a team or maybe even going pro yourself? Because let me tell you, a main support is kind of hard to come by these days.
Well, I suck. Well, that doesn't help. I'm a low diamond, high plat player, so
That's better than
honestly,
most people.
I'm a very competitive person, and I think that if I were healthy and I actually committed myself to it, and like trained in a real way on aiming and committing myself to first person shooters, and I played enough that I could get there. I think I could, because when I played games a lot, like I used to be a very, very good WoW player. If I give 6 months to a first person shooter, I become really good at it. And I'm a guy who, that's how I approach baseball, and that's kind of where I got. I'm a grandmaster baseball player, as my chat likes to say. So, or top 500 even. Yeah, I think that, who knows? I don't know. It depends on the game. There might be some game that I just naturally am very, very good at. But some of these guys, there is something to it, and I think there's a science. We haven't figured out the science yet, but there's something to guys that are just naturally better. They just are. Some guys just have the tracking of, it's just moving their hand in that way is a little bit better than their hand-eye coordination is a little bit better. So, and as for owning a team, that has definitely run through my mind. Owning an organization, or even getting into the business side, maybe in some things, in some elements of esports that doesn't quite exist yet, that exist in other sports. It's gonna, I think, organically gonna happen. I'm talking about like scouting and how tournaments like this are put together, or how professional leagues are put together. It's kind of informal and a little bit. It's getting more and more formal, every week as we see these tournaments popping up. But if you look at traditional sports, there's a large formal network that's built over 50 years for all of these sports, and kind of how things are done. And that's going to happen for esports. But the uniqueness and the thing we don't know about is the way games come out and go away and become popular and things like that.
The fads and trends.
Fads and trends. It's just it's the world we live in. It's just much, much faster. If you can kind of facilitate finding players, and again, like in baseball, you got to grow into your body. You don't know how hard a guy's going to throw it till he's like 21, things like that. In video games, like there's 14-year-olds out there that are some of the best players at their game. And how are you going to find a 14-year-old rather than on the internet, like just randomly by watching a stream or something? So I don't know. These are things I've kind of watched and talked to players about, and organizations, and how they find players, and how players. I ask guys, like, how did you get seen to be on a team? He's like, well, I just kind of played. I asked a guy to watch me, and he assigned me. Like, it's just kind of an informal. There's no real. If you want to attack it, you kind of got to get lucky. So I think there's a way to become an entity that helps guys get seen. So that's kind of where the tournament sets in, and on top of everything else, it's just a lot of fun. So I don't know. It's something to think about for the future. And I've thrown around owning teams and things, but I want to be involved definitely in some big way somehow in the future.
Nice. So is there anything else you want to add? Anything you want to plug? I know you have a whole bunch of social media, so if you want to run through that, and then we're basically good. So if you have anything else to add at all, the floor is yours.
All right. I'm going to plug all my social medias. I'm trying to get good at this. My Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are all TrevMay65. That is my number on the field. And my Twitch is twitch.tv/I am Trevor May. I am Trevor May on YouTube. I have started to add highlights from my tournaments. I'm doing a vlog of going over my rehab from my injury too. So if you're wondering what that entails, it's kind of a very common injury in baseball, and it's kind of interesting to figure out how to come back from it. So I have that going on YouTube, and yeah, that's all my social medias and my Twitch, my YouTube. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, all that stuff, and And if you ever need to get a hold of me, I'm available on all of those things. So thank you.
And your 3v3, the Overwatch Showdown, the next one is April 15th, right?
April 15th, and your sign up on my website, trevormay.me/showdown.
Sweet.
And it's a 3-question questionnaire. You fill it out, and you're in the bracket. Only 16 teams in both brackets, so get signed up as quickly as possible.
Nice. Well, thank you again, Trevor, for being awesome and going into this interview. You guys can find me at Yotobari288. That's YOTOBARI 288. And we will see you next time. Thank you again.